Welcome to The Growth Equation. This isn't your typical business podcast. We're keeping it real about the challenges of scaling up, period. I'm Tristan Wright and I've been there. I've built and scaled my own business. I've sold it. I've learned a ton along the way. Now I'm bringing you the no BS stories of founders who are in the trenches right now, navigating that messy middle. We're talking advertising, marketing, design, creative, branding, the whole 9 yards. Doesn't matter if you're a solopreneur or running a team of 100. Everyone's got a secret sauce, that thing that makes them different, better. We're going to uncover it. So grab a coffee and let's get real. Today we're talking to Kate from This Is Rocket. Kate, welcome.
Thank you, Tristan. Really happy to be here.
Awesome. I'm a bit excited to talk to you. So I love asking people about their business names and how they came up with the business name. So and This Is Rocket is a bit of a different one. So you're going to tell me all about that to start with.
Yes, it is. And it's always funny trying to think of a business name. I kind of liked This Is Something. That's kind of where it started. This is something. I didn't really know what. And then I sort of thought, what is the business really about? And it's about finding good people, good freelancers for businesses quickly. So I take pride in the fact that we can find really good people quickly. So I thought, what's something quick? Rocket. Let's land with that.
Nice and simple. So I remember talking about when we chatted the other week, and you said you often talk to people and they say, "Oh, so you're a recruiter now? You're an HR consultant," and your immediate response is no. So, how about you tell us a bit about your business and tell us why you're not a HR recruiter, consultant type person?
Sure. So my background is in paid media. I've worked in agencies forever, and I started freelancing. I fell into freelancing about 6 years ago when I had my son, and I went on mat leave, and it was time to go back after a year, and I just really wasn't ready, even though I had a great boss at the time who was willing to be very flexible, and this was pre-COVID days too, so it was lovely. But I just wasn't ready. So I fell into freelancing, and I was doing that for a while. And I just found people were asking me quite often, hey, can you do this contract? Can you help us with this? And I just didn't have the capacity to do it. And I thought, well, obviously there's a need here. People need to find good people. So I thought, why not just start a business? I know quite a few freelancers. I know I have a good network. So I decided to start it just to help facilitate those connections.
Yeah, awesome. So where you are today, are you purely facilitating connections, or are you working as a freelancer, or do you have people working underneath you? What does it look like today?
Yeah, so I'm still working as a freelancer, but that being said, I'm not doing a contract at the moment. I intentionally took a bit of a break, so that's been really nice. And I'm also running this. I do have one employee, but it's a really small kind of shop. It is definitely about facilitating those connections. I have some really great clients that I work with. I've got some really great freelancers that I know. It's definitely small. There are plans to grow, but it's definitely just almost a one-man band at the moment, just with me and my one employee.
So why This Is Rocket? Why, let's say I own a marketing agency, or I own a paid media agency. Why am I going to go to you?
I think people come to me because they are really busy. Often you need a freelancer or a contractor because you're so busy, or maybe you've just won business and you have to build a new team, and you can't maybe find all the permanent people you need straight away. You need some contractors just to help in the interim. So that's really where I come in. I really help find those contractors quickly. I feel it can sometimes be hard to find contractors because you may not know any contractors, but also recruiters. I mean, a lot of recruiters focus on permanent people. Some obviously focus on contractors, but a lot focus on those permanent people, whereas we don't look after permanents at all. It's all just contractors and freelancers.
Yeah. And I guess because you've come from the industry, it's a lot easier for you to to find the people and also work out if they're good or not good. Whereas a recruiter, different story.
That's right. I've worked with a lot of these people myself. So I know how they work and I know how they fit into teams, and I know the people that can just get in there and go, which you really need from a contractor. It's not someone that can get in there and, they sort of take their time to settle into the team. You need people that can just arrive day one, ready to go.
That's it. So you've been doing it for 5 or 6 years now, and I'm sure there's times that you've put in more effort than other times. But I want to hear a bit about the journey, the highs and the lows, and how you've actually refined the business and the offer from day one.
Yeah, so I guess from freelancing myself, starting as a freelancer, I had no idea what I was doing. I had never done it before. And there's so much to learn. And I think sometimes it can sound really fun, like, oh, I'll be a freelancer and I can go to the beach on a Tuesday or have a lot more freedom in my life, which you do get that. You can certainly have days that you make sure you have off or certain times that you work. But you're also accountable to find your roles, find your jobs, do your invoicing, really use your network to find those connections. So it can also be really hard. And with anything, there's ups and downs. There's times that are good and times that are not so good. And sometimes when the times are good, you're really, really busy and you get offered all these contracts, and it's hard turning them down because you do know maybe some bad times are kind of coming and I might not have anything for a month or two. So it's a bit of a wild roller coaster ride at times. I've certainly found the last maybe 9 months or so have been quite challenging for the market. There was a time when a lot of people were made redundant, so there are a lot of people looking for work. I spoke to a lot of people that were willing to explore contracting and freelancing. I'm certainly seeing things turn around now, though. I feel like there's a new energy this year. There seem to just be more roles or just people willing to explore hiring a freelancer or a contractor. I think for me, how the business has evolved is I didn't really know what it was going to be when I started it. I just thought, oh, I'm getting asked to do lots of jobs, so maybe I'll just find other people to do these jobs. And then in speaking to more freelancers, I realized that it can be, and I've experienced this, it can be really lonely. You are working on your own or by yourself in your bedroom or your home office. And it can be quite tough sometimes. So I wanted to create something where freelancers had someone they could talk to. There was someone they could trust, someone that understands what they're going through, and also deal with those things that are really hard to deal with sometimes, especially when you're starting out. Like, how do I invoice? When do I invoice? How do I pay my super? Do I need to pay tax? What about GST? There's all these things that you just don't really know, and you learn along the way. And I just love being able to help people. I mean, I'm not an accountant. I don't know everything about, so I wouldn't give financial advice or anything like that. But it's just nice to be able to help guide people, especially when they're starting out on this journey.
Yeah, totally. So, so effectively, you're in there helping freelancers. You've seen a lot more come into the market recently, but the industry is changing. You're seeing there's a lot more optimism at the moment, which is exciting. So that's something that's really interesting to hear, because business owners get stressed when there's not much out there. But if you're seeing people are getting hired again, obviously that's a positive sign.
Yeah, I think it's definitely changing. I spoke to a lot of freelancers last year that were really struggling with finding work, and now those same freelancers are too busy to take on new roles. So it's great. I mean, it's great to see.
Wow, that's awesome. So, types of businesses that come to you, are they marketing agencies? Are they the smaller businesses? What size are you getting coming to you, and what sort of roles?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mix. I work with some big agencies. I won't mention names, but I work with some big agencies and then some smaller businesses too. Some smaller businesses seem to just find my website and reach out. It is a bit of a mix, but I'd say it's a lot of those companies that have, they can have like a big business win and they need to fill a huge team quickly, or it's kind of like the cycle that goes on forever. People leave, it's hard to find new people, everyone's super crazy busy, so it's really, really tough, and it sort of gets pushed by the wayside. Then you realize, this person's actually leaving next week and we really need people to help the team. So yeah, I'd say it's a bit of a mix.
Is there a change in the type of services that people are looking for? For instance, are they more traditional type services to more digital or even AI driven type roles? So are you noticing any changes there?
I am seeing there's a lot that need performance people, so people that can do search and social. A lot of the kind of mid-level doers, not really execs, not super senior, kind of that mid-level where they need people to actually do the work. Senior roles are a lot harder to come by. There are some senior roles where they just need someone to help guide a team through a transition phase, or if someone's on leave. AI, there's been a little bit of interest in the AI space. I think that's going to be huge. I mean, I'm doing all I can to learn as much as I can on AI. I'm using a whole bunch of different platforms. I'm just trying everything.
I want to hear, what are you trying? What are you seeing? And where do you see it, AI going? Because we sometimes talk about AI on the podcast, and it's really interesting to see how different business owners and different businesses are using it.
Yeah, I think there are just so many good AI platforms out there now. I also feel like people are more receptive, I think, than you may realize to understanding something may be AI. I feel like there can be a little bit of a barrier with some people thinking, I can't have an ad that's made by AI because people will know it's AI and people will think it's silly or they won't like it. But I actually think consumers are kind of used to that already. I know it's still new, but I think that they're kind of understanding that that's where some businesses may be coming from. And some smaller businesses that don't have big budgets at all, they can do so much. And I think there's a huge opportunity for smaller businesses to do so much more than they're doing now just by using AI. They can get, chat bots, and they can essentially get their site right. You can even build a site. I mean, you can build a website using AI like super quickly. So it frees up so much time. I don't really see it taking people's jobs straight away. I think people's jobs will evolve. I think they will be different. I also think it's going to be harder for big groups, big agencies to adapt as quickly to AI and bringing in AI, just because they're so huge. I mean, it's just tough. They can just be a little bit slower. Whereas I think there's a big opportunity for small businesses just to use AI to help them with so much.
So does that mean the end clients are going to start, once AI is refined, does that mean the end client is going to start ending up going for smaller business or smaller agencies because they're more agile and they've got a better service offering?
Maybe. I think AI still needs people, and it still needs good people to make it work properly or effectively, and to get the best outputs. I think probably the most basic thing to look at is maybe copywriting. Like, AI can just write everything now. Well, it can write things, but you still need to read it and refine it and make it better, or change the tone to something that is what you're after. I know you can give a lot of direction to AI, but I still think there's a human element that's needed to actually make it the best it can be. I'm not saying that clients are going to leave bigger agencies to go to smaller agencies just because they can do more. But I think that clients will be looking at what they can do themselves with AI or what they can do with small agencies with AI. I think it's certainly going to be a big disruptor.
Yeah, totally. So, have you implemented AI much in your business yet?
I do use it to write blogs for my website, and it takes 5 minutes. I mean, it's so quick. I obviously use it and then I read them and I change words and I make sure the English is Australian English, those sorts of things. I'm doing something else in the background, which I don't want to share yet, but yes, I am using it to do something else. But
Is
I
it in the
use Claude.
copywriting space, or is it?
No, I
Yeah,
would no. It's in maybe the web development space. Yeah.
yeah. The way
But
I
I
see
use.
it, anything that's got a repeatable workflow, you put automation into it, and then
Mm,
you need to be able to put AI into some of the steps of it. And
mm,
so,
yeah.
web development, it's a repeatable workflow, and you just need
Mm,
to structure that repeatable workflow.
yeah. And I mean, there's just such amazing platforms out there, and I think people can be scared. Oh, I don't understand AI. I don't know how to use it. Just use it.
Mm,
Just start using it. I mean, I had no idea either, but I've just started using it, and it's hard when you're busy, and I understand. But um, there's just some really good ones out there. Like Claude is amazing for just writing anything. I love Claude. I
yes.
actually don't use ChatGPT much at all. I use Claude. I've played around with Replit, which is like the coolest thing ever. It builds apps and websites. You can just type in, build me a website about whatever, and it will just start building it. And then you can keep adding further prompts, change this, change that, make it look nicer, or include this data set. I mean, it's just so cool. It's like amazing what you can do.
I haven't heard of that one, so I'm going to go and have a look at it. So,
It's very, very cool. And then I think for really busy people, Lindy is pretty cool. Lindy.ai. It can record meetings. It can, you can say to it, okay, what were the top points from that meeting that we had on Tuesday? And it will send you, here are the top 3 points of that meeting. And then it can also link to your documents. So if you're like, oh, what's our holiday policy again? Oh, here's the holiday policy from our HR documents about, whatever. So it's just so cool. I mean, that kind of stuff just saves so much time. I don't
mm,
think those sorts of things necessarily replace people's jobs. I think they just make your job so much better. And then you can just do other cool stuff. You don't need to do all the admin stuff that I think everyone would admit that they spend so much time on admin and
yeah.
like non-thinking kind of solutioning kind of problems. And it's just so annoying. You don't need to do that.
Yeah, because AI can do it for you. It makes us better at what we do. So you've got to see it
Correct.
as an extension of ourselves and an extension of the team. Um,
Yes.
yes, it will remove some roles, but we need to adapt to be able to direct and guide AI.
Yes. 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 I totally agree.
Um, Going back to your business, because I'm really, really intrigued about your business model, because I like there's recruitment agencies and
Mm.
out there. You're not a recruitment agency. Who would you say, or what would you say are your most close competitors? What is it that is similar to you? You don't have to name names, but types of businesses if you prefer.
Um, I think kind of like a few of the smaller players, to be honest, people that are sort of doing it like me, just like a one-man band that are just have maybe fallen into it or are kind of just facilitating connections. I guess on the other hand, you've got those big marketplaces like Upwork and freelancer.com, those sorts of things. But again, I find it tough sometimes to find local people on those platforms. Um, there's certainly, there's scale on those platforms. There's a lot of people on there, but they may be overseas. Whereas this is Rocket only works with Australian-based freelancers. Some do work remotely, but they're in Australia and they have local market knowledge. So a bit different from those big marketplaces.
Yeah, totally. So other people in similar situation to you, like if being in business, freelance, a small business, what sort of advice would you give to them in their journey as a business owner?
I don't overthink things too much. I think when you're working for, it's so funny. I feel like when you're working for yourself or you're in a small business, it feels so different to when you're working for someone else. And sometimes the decision making can be so much easier if you're working for someone else. Like, let's just do this and it's right. Whereas sometimes when you're in a small business or on your own, you feel like, oh, is this actually the right thing to do? Should I be doing this? I think just don't overthink things. Nothing needs to be perfect. Just go for it. Don't think, oh, my website looks bad, so I'm just not going to launch. Just launch. No one cares. You can fix it later. It's about relationships. Yeah, it doesn't need to be perfect.
Yeah, the sooner you're out in market, the sooner you can get market verification.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
We need to be able to hear from others what they think of our service and our offer. And if we're constantly refining it in our own echo chamber, it's not.
Yeah, totally agree. And it's like anything. Once you take a step back or you get another set of eyes on it, it can look totally different. So just go for it. If you're thinking about it, just do it. There's no harm in trying. You can always go back to what you were doing before if it doesn't work out or do something else, but you can learn so much as well. You learn so much about yourself, about other people, about different things, different industries. You open yourself up to so much, I think.
Totally. One last question. You've got your ear to the ground a lot more than others. So you're talking to a lot of people in the industry. What do you see happening to in this space over the next 2, 3, 4 years? Is it more of the same, changing? What?
I actually think people are going to be much more open to freelancers. I think that people have been, but a lot of people still don't really know how to work with freelancers or contractors. It can sometimes be, oh, we have a freelancer or we have a contractor in, and then no one knows what to give to work on or what they really need to do or how they're supposed to work. I feel like that's changing, and I feel like that will continue to change. I feel like people will realize, okay, here's an expert. They've come in to do this job. Let's get them to do that job. I think people are really open to having leaner teams and having specialists come in to do whatever tasks they might need done. And that can be project work, that can be an ongoing thing. But I think leaner teams, implementing AI, using freelancers, I think there's a lot of growth to come.
Yeah, awesome. And a lot of what I'm talking about is that you need subject matter experts, point solution experts. It aligns perfectly with that. Yes,
exactly. Agree.
Hey, thank you very much for your time today. If people want to get in touch, thisisrocket.com.au. Is that the best way?
Yes, that's it. My email's on there, kate@thisisrocket.com.au. You can email me. I'd love to hear from anyone. So yeah, thank you so much for your time, Tristan. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Kate. That's a wrap. Thanks for tuning into The Growth Equation. If you've enjoyed the show, hit that subscribe button and leave a review. It helps us big time. Catch you next time. And if you want more, head over to evolvetogrow.com.au for show notes and exclusive content.